Attracting women is the only reason we should care about style. I get this one a lot too. Most of the time, it's from men who they let their wives do the shopping for them, or their girlfriends, or sadly, their moms. And yeah, and they think, well, all that matters is that, that girls think that my style is good. Well, if it works when I'm out picking up chicks, then it's great. And I'll tell you guys that when it comes to this kind of stuff, the opinion of women really doesn't matter that much. Controversy. It really doesn't matter that much. Because you can be well dressed in so many different contexts. And what you're doing when you're dressing well is you're signaling things that ultimately are much more important within the men in your life, and then they're confirmed and ratified by the women within your life. So let's talk about that a little bit. Think about when you're in, we'll go back to a work environment. Think about when you're in a work environment and you're dressing in a way that is indicative of the fact that you're trying to go somewhere. You're not at the bottom of the barrel. You're not overstepping your bounds and dressing like the guys who are kind of on the top rung, but you're trying to look like you're trying to go someplace. You're signaling status, right? And status is not something that is granted to us by the women in our lives. It's not. I know a lot of guys, especially in the pickup community or other things, will tell us that, well, you're only a real man if you have so many notches under your belt, right? Or you're only a real man if women respond to you a certain way. But ultimately, it's putting the cart before the horse, because women respond positively to men who have high status. They don't give high status to men on their own, if that makes sense. I know that can be kind of a subtle distinction, but it's an important one, because the people who grant you status in your life are typically the men who are setting the rules by which you play, whether that's in a work environment, or it's a hobby that you engage in, or it's your friends, or when you were a kid, it was the people that you had in school, or whatever else it may be. It may be something as big as an industry. The majority of the time, the people who are setting those status rules and that are helping you understand how to navigate that whole social hierarchy, it's usually men. And then when you've attained a certain level of status, then you get the added bonus of being attracted to women who fit within that group, that culture, or that tribe. And then they help bump your status even higher, because now the other men can see, well, that worked, because not only does he already have high status, but he's attractive to women, so double whammy. But again, you can't come into something and think that, well, all I need to do is be attractive to women and therefore my status will increase. You're putting the cart before the horse. And so to think about it in this context, if you're dressing to attract women, it's not going to work for you. I mean, I guess it could, but then you're missing opportunities as far as all these other things that you can do, as far as how you can leverage that relationship that you have with other men, or how you can leverage that relationship, your own self-perception. And I see this a lot with other guys who come onto the site or things like that, where they will create this entire wardrobe, and it's all based on what they think this one particular girl or this group of girls are going to like. And then they go through putting it together and putting it on, and usually they don't execute on it very well. But 9 times out of 10, what really ends up happening is I just feel like a poser. I don't feel like myself when I wear this. And so their confidence goes down. And really what they usually end up signaling is that, well, they are a poser, because you haven't actually earned the right to wear high status clothes like that. I'll give you an example from my own personal life. I have a brother who's a professional snowboarder, was for a few years. And at the time when he was really on top of his game, and sports are weird, especially the way that guys do clothes in sports and stuff like that. At this one particular time, all the big snowboarders were wearing really baggy pants, and they would wear basketball jerseys, and then they would have a certain type of like brim beanie, and you'd have these big massive goggles. And that was what all the pros looked like, okay? So again, if we were just dressing in a way that we were trying to attract women, if that was the main goal, then that means that I show up on the mountain and I'm dressed like all these guys, because the women are attracted to these guys, and obviously are attracted to these guys because they dress that way, right? And so then I show up on the mountain and I can't do anything on a snowboard because I don't actually have any skill in that arena whatsoever. And then what happens? You look like an idiot. You aren't attracting anybody, because you're sitting here projecting this big game of I've attained a level of mastery within this, and I am high status within this tribe, and I'm really good at this sport, and I'm in with all these guys. But then your actual skill set, what you're actually delivering, is completely antithetical to that. It's the opposite. And so what you're wearing is proving you a liar, right? Whereas you're much better off if you're kind of the beginner on there and you're trying to attract those girls. One, maybe that's not the best place to go look for girls because they're going to be interested in those guys. And maybe you're better off looking for girls in a place where you're really good. Or if you like those kind of girls and you want to get good at it, then you get good at it and you continue to get better at it. And then you improve your style as you become more and more part of that particular group or that particular tribe until you've actually earned the right through mastery, through status, through becoming part of that group to actually dress like you belong. You know, I think about, you guys remember Back to the Future 3 when Marty McFly gets all of his cowboy gear and he just looks like an idiot because it's all prim and proper. That's what so many of us do when we're trying to dress in a way that the only thing that matters is attracting women. We end up just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot on that. That's the problem that we create.